Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And joining me right here is Jessica Lynne Witty. Hey, Jessica, how you doing today?
Hey, doing good. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. So, tell us, how did you get your start in music?
Oh, wow. I feel like music has kind of been in my blood forever, but I didn't really pursue it professionally and with a passion until 2010 when I decided to move from Denmark all the way over to the States to pursue country music. So,
Oh, okay, awesome. What is one thing that you most enjoy about music?
I love the way that music is, you know, how you say politics divide and music
Mhm.
unites. I love the way that music can kind of put anybody on the same page just with melodies and words. And it's one of those things that can take us back more than anything. So like you hear a song that you've heard when you were a little girl, boy, or whatever, when you were younger, and all of a sudden you hear it again and you just get taken right back to wherever you were at the time. So music is kind of the soundtrack to our lives, and that's what I love the most about music.
If you could do a duet with any singer, who would you choose and why?
Kenny Chesney. because because I've seen what he does and how he lifts the people up that he works with. So when he did a duet with Grace Potter, for instance, or Uncle Cracker, he definitely draws them into his world. He sometimes brings them on tour, and he uses the platform that he has to really elevate the other person. And I think that's truly amazing. So yeah, I'd pick him in a heartbeat if I had to pick anyone in the world.
Where can people find you on social media, Jessica?
I am Jessica Lynne Witty all over the board, except for Twitter, where it's J Lynn Witty. They won't let me have that long handle. But otherwise, you can just search for it or go to jessicalynwitty.com and go from there. You can find everything from there.
Do you have someone or something that inspired you to start singing?
I do remember what inspired me to become a songwriter was a another songwriter. His name is Gary Burr. He's a prolific country songwriter, and I remember listening to a bunch of country music back in the 90s, and this is when we had CDs, right? So I'd
Mhm.
look every time there was a song that just really touched my heart and I just really loved, I would flip the CD and it would say Burr. And so I realized after listening to a bunch of his songs, that was the style that I really liked, the storytelling and the way that he would say so much with so few words. And I started thinking, wait, maybe I can do this too. And so I started actually really writing, like diving into songwriting as a craft. So that he inspired me just by his songs and his style of writing inspired me to become a songwriter.
Do you have any new singles or any upcoming projects that we can look forward to, Jessica?
Oh yes. I have I have an album coming out. A lot of the songs have already been put out as singles all through COVID and all through the last few years. The album is called Take the Lead and it'll be out on November 5th. It is already up for pre-order, and as soon as the CDs are in, you will get your pre-order. So if you pre-order, you get it before everybody else. But then I also have a project with a great songwriter and entertainer called Chris Jones. He's primarily rock, but he has kind of branched into country with a new project that we're doing called the Redneck Files. And so we are putting out a bunch of songs under that umbrella. And the first one is coming out here next week, and it's called Redneck Highway. So you'll get a taste of that very, very soon.
Well, that's awesome. I cannot wait to hear it. What are your hobbies and interests outside of music?
Oh, outside of music, I love to cook. I'm very crafty. Like I like creating things. I like staining furniture, turning something old into something new. During COVID, when we had way too much time on our hands, I built a whole bar in my living room. So
Oh, wow.
I'm, I like doing things, creative things that just aren't music related. gardening, like stuff like that. And it keeps my creative juices flowing, even though I'm not like doing music right off. So
Mhm. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
oh wow, that's always a tricky question. Well, I am 5 to 10 years. God, I hope by then I'll have like a CMA award or something like that. That would be great. But at the very least, I would love to be full time living in Nashville, because that's where I travel so much back and forth right now that would take a lot of stress off my hands. I hope that I am touring a lot in the summer and creating a lot of music in the winter, and that that really creates some abundance in my life. Like if that would be like people talk about making a living, but there are different types of livings to be made.
Mhm.
I do make a living off of music right now, but if that could create even more abundance and I could reach even more people and play even bigger stages, then that's where I see myself down the line. It's not very tangible, I know, but I don't think that winning a
Mhm.
Grammy or a CMA award
Mhm.
or something like that really identifies where you're at.
Mhm.
But for me, just being able to continue with the trajectory that I'm on right now will be
Mhm.
a lot more helpful.
What does a typical day look like for you?
Oh, okay. It depends on whether I'm in touring season or not. So, I mean, a typical day for me in touring season would be wake up, drive somewhere, play a show, do an interview on the way. That's like a typical day while we're touring. On release day, I do a lot more interviews, um, and then I have a typical day in Nashville where I have two writing sessions with co-writes, and then a writers round at night where I play a lot more solo gigs. So it just kind of depends on where I'm at, but a typical day for me, in between all that, when I'm at home, is basically what I'm doing right now. So I'm working from my office. I do an interview or two. I create graphics for my music coming out. I'm planning all the studio time and all that stuff. So there's a lot of planning that goes into all the fun stuff.
Mhm. Mhm. What advice would you give someone that might want to start singing?
Okay. Well, I think number one, uh, only do it if you simply can't not do it. I think it's very important to have a drive that is almost insane, like insane. You really need to have that passion and the drive, because it's one of the hardest things that I've ever done. But if you're really determined to go do this, then I would say don't listen to anybody else about what is right for you. You know what's right for you. Listen to your soul, listen to your heart. And then keep working on your craft. Keep getting better and better. Don't ever put anything out that isn't better than the last.
Absolutely. What is one message that you would like to give your fans or anyone listening?
Ooh, okay. That no matter how hard it is to follow your dreams, it's not as hard as ignoring them. I think
Mhm.
my biggest thing in life has been ignoring my dreams for way too long. And then when I finally pursued them, I realized that any hardships it is really hard work,
Mhm.
but any hardships that I encounter while pursuing my passion is nothing compared to trying to push it down and pretend like it doesn't exist.
Mhm. Do you have any upcoming tours? And if so, where can people find you at?
Well, I just finished my last stop on the tour. I have a bunch of shows in Nashville. I'm actually playing the Listening Room at on October 13th, and that's actually one of those bucket list moments for me, because I really wanted to play that stage ever since I saw a show there. So that's great. But I know we have a whole bunch of shows coming in, even starting in the spring, and just follow me on my website. If you go to jessicalynwitty.com, you can always see my updated calendar, and as they tick in, you can see some of the upcoming shows.
Hmm. And lastly, is there anything else that I forgot that you'd like to share with us today, Jessica?
No, I think you covered it all. Thank you. Great
Yeah,
questions.
thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I just want to say a huge thank you to Jessica, Lynne, Witty for joining me right here on the Kayden Gordon Show today's Best Country Mix. We truly appreciate your time to talk to us today, Jess.
Yeah, thank you so much. Anytime, my man. Anytime.